What is up, everybody? I am Eric, and this is episode 25 of building a game collection with only a $20 bill. I can't believe this was $6. In this series, I am starting a game collection with only $20, like I said, by going to Goodwill, thrift stores, the flea markets, or really any place I can find video games. I'm going to be buying, trading, selling, whatever it takes. I'll be doing it in order to grow this game collection. Now, if you are new or you haven't seen the series before, click right up there. That is a link to the playlist of every single episode. Go back, start from the beginning, and see the long journey. Like I said, this is episode 25, and we've got some amazing pickups for the week. As of right now, we have $381 in the game fund, which is a ton of money to find games. So we're gonna go ahead, head out to some Goodwills, some thrift stores, and see if we can even find some good stuff to spend our money on. And if not, we might have to do some other things. So I was literally about to walk out my door when I got a notification from a Facebook Marketplace that a game had sold, and that was Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock for the PlayStation 2. It sold for $12. We bought it for $4. It ended up selling for $12, so we can add that into the game fund, and now we have even more money to go and spend at the Goodwill, the thrift stores, or wherever. The first place we hit up was Goodwill, and I searched high and low, obviously, for games, and I only found March Madness 98 for the PlayStation. I looked at all the shelves in the store and this rack and really didn't find anything, so I decided to head out to the antique store, where I found some stuff, but some stuff that was also not worth picking up. I found a fake Wii wheel for Mario Kart. I found a bunch of games at this booth, but they were all overpriced, so I passed on those. This booth kind of the same way. It just really wasn't worth picking any of these games up. I found some cheap games, but they were either games that I already had or games that weren't even really worth what they were listed for. But that is completely okay because we made our way to the booth of the owner of the store and we hit some pay dirt. First off, we've got new Super Mario Bros. Wii for $10. Totally well worth it. Then tie 2, loose disc, but only for $1. And then behind the counter, they had Guitar Hero and Rock Band guitars. I was talking to the guy and he was like over my shoulder, so it was kind of hard to film here, but you can see there's 4 guitars, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I found a Diablo that I thought was pretty interesting, and finally I found some other games, but I had to make my way back to Hannah Montana and see if it was still there. So that Goodwill ended up being a bust. We didn't really find anything except for that PlayStation 1 game, so I quickly pivoted to going to the antique store, and I'm really glad that we did because we found some amazing stuff. Now, first off, when I walked in the door, I kind of wandered around a little bit, and I didn't really find anything that was worth picking up until I made it to the owner of the store's booth, and that's where we really found some good stuff. First off, new Super Mario Bros. Wii. This is not loose disc, but it doesn't have the manual either, so that is what it is. But I looked this game up on price charting, and they had it at $26, whereas at the antique store, it was only $10. So that's pretty much $15 in profit if this was to sell for full price. We'll add that up and figure it out later when it sells, but for now, turning $10 into potentially $25 is definitely well worth it to me. And then I was searching there as well, and I ended up finding tie 2. Now, this is loose disc only, but it was only $1, and I knew this was a game that was kind of sought after for the PlayStation 2. It's not one of those really expensive games, but it's a game that people like, so I picked it up. It was only $1 loose disc. I looked this up on price charting, and it was between $6 and $7. And for me, that's pretty much worth it. I spent only $1, turning it into $6 or $7, which will probably net us like $4, maybe $5. I think that's probably okay, considering it was only $1. I had to pick it up. It was pretty awesome. But the best thing about this booth was actually the Guitar Hero and Rock Band guitars. There was 4 guitars there, but I only ended up picking up 3 of them, and the price for these guitars was absolutely insane. Now, I was talking to the owner, and he said, well, I got those guitars in on a bundle, but I didn't have a way to test them, so I just put $2 on all of them. And I was like, what? $2? All right, I'm gonna go and pick those up. And I looked through them, and 3 of them were worth it. The other one was a knockoff brand. First off, we've got this guitar for Rock Band. It is the Fender, what is this, the Stratocaster. And for only $2, I definitely think it's worth it. This is what I believe to be for the PS3. I don't think this works on the PS4. Sadly, no dongle on any of these, at least that I noticed. I didn't look through the cases. Maybe they'll be in there. But for $2, this is definitely worth it. I'll find a game and pair it with it. And then next, we ended up picking up this Guitar Hero guitar for the Nintendo Wii. Now, it's not missing that piece that goes on the back, but that's okay. This is one of the guitars where the neck comes off, which makes it even better to ship. I always love when I can find these guitars with removable necks, and even more with the Wii's, because the Wii's don't need a dongle. They actually just use a Wiimote. They plug in on the back here, and that's totally awesome. So I always love finding the Wii guitars because you don't have to find a dongle to test them with. And last but not least, thankfully, the best thing in this guitar haul is a Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock guitar. These guitars are awesome. They look cool, as you can tell, and they actually pair really well with the Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock game, which I just happen to have in the collection. So I'll definitely be putting these two together. This one's for the Xbox 360, and I'm really stoked upon this one. Again, $2 for each one of these. I think if I take this and bundle it with the game, I should easily get like $80 to $100. And then with that Wii one, I'll try to pair it with a game as well and get maybe $60 to $75. And then with that Rock Band guitar and Rock Band, maybe $50 there. So turning $2 into potentially $60 or $50 or even $80 is definitely well worth it. And I am stoked that we stopped at this flea market because this guy had some good deals, and I'm glad that I found them. Before we get to the big pickup of the week, I want to talk about what sold. First off, Spyro A Hero's Tale sold for $12 on Facebook Marketplace. We spent $4 and made $12. That's definitely well worth it. And then we ended up selling Super Punch Out for the Super Nintendo for $30. Now, I don't really have how much we paid for it because it was part of a bundle, but we're gonna go ahead and add back in the $30, and let's go ahead and see what this wild next pickup is. I was just on Facebook Marketplace on my phone, and I stumbled across an amazing pickup. I messaged them, and they can meet me right away, and that's something I really have to do in my area because these things sell out like crazy. This is an amazing find if this thing works. I talked them down to $100, so I'm really stoked about this. I'm gonna run and go grab it right now, and then when we get back, we'll talk about everything that I got and how much risk this was and everything like that. First thing that was handed to me was this Nintendo DS with broken hinges, and it really had stickers all over it and just wasn't worth it to me. However, the Nintendo 2DS XL, everything looks good about this. Now, I will say she didn't have a charger, so this thing was dead, but she says it works, so we're gonna have to test that out and make sure. But it looks good so far, and I'm very happy about that. First off, I want to say this was really a sketchy deal all around. One, it was kind of sketchy because she showed up like 10 minutes late, but then she gave me something for free, and the system didn't even power on, so this was definitely a risk at $100. The first thing she tells me was she was just gonna give me this Nintendo DS Lite, but sadly there's a hinge that's broken. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I don't even know if this thing works. I'll have to test it. I didn't test it, and I really, I just took this because she handed it to me. I had no clue and really no intention of keeping this. But when she handed me this thing, I was super stoked because it looks to be in really good condition when you open it up. The screens were a little dirty when she gave it to me, but they were still nice. You could tell there wasn't much wear. There's a little bit of wear on the back, but for the screens, they were in good condition. This is, again, a 2DS XL. These things are amazing. I looked this up, and it's going for around $200. So I charged it up, and thankfully it worked. So the risk was definitely worth the reward. And she said she might have other games, so I said, message me if you ever have anything else you find or want to sell. But for $100, I think this was definitely well worth picking up. And this maybe not so much, but I definitely am glad that I grabbed this because I think it is well worth it. So after everything we bought this week and sold, we currently have $318 in the game fund, which is absolutely amazing. We found some really great stuff this week. Those Guitar Hero guitars are going to sell very well. And then that 2DS XL is absolutely at least going to double our money, so I am super stoked about that. So that's all I've got for this video and this week of pickups. So if you like this video, go ahead and check out that one right there. I'm really glad that I ended up picking these games up. They might have been loose disc, but cheap games are always worth it. So check that video out while you're at it.